The landscape of the American Pacific Northwest is beautiful, densely wooded. No wonder that the logging and timber industry plays a huge, important economic role here. As a tourist, you might just see the big, clear-cut areas and you may think, oh no, all the beautiful trees are gone. But having a closer look at it, what can we learn about it? Actually, the forest has never been in a constant balance with its environment. There have always been many disturbances due to natural or human influences. Not to mention catastrophic events like wildfires, bad storms, or even volcanic eruptions. Researchers guess that not even before the arrival of the Europeans, no, already by the Native Americans, did the forest underlie this dynamic. They even believe that the demise of the Anasazi Indian culture was due to deforestation and the consequently following erosion. Wildfires are not rare in the Pacific Northwest, and yes, even volcanic eruptions are possible. 1980, it just happened when Mount St. Helens erupted. Though Mount Rainier looks so peaceful, it is a volcano, like most of the mountains are that are part of the Pacific Fire Ring. But not the volcanoes are on focus, it is the forest. Jobs grow with trees? One who can tell me more about forestry is Jeff Adams, who takes me to an educational tour into the forest and patiently answers my questions. And here is one of many log trucks, and I wonder how much worse the truckload is.
How much is it worth?
Yeah.
A good average would probably be $2,500 for one load.
$2,500. Yeah. This is indeed a lot of money for one log. The first trees that were felled here commercially, they were giants, and logging equipment was different in the old days. Also, there were no trucks. With the invention of the railway, timber transportation became easier. Tracks were relocated to get the valuable cargo out of the forest to further processing. Nowadays, in difficult terrain, helicopters are used to haul out the logs, which isn't inexpensive. I heard in Canada that helicopter logging would be around $8,000 an hour.
Yes.
So, do you also helicopter logging?
There is places around here that will do that, but our company does not.
Are there certain laws or restrictions on where you can go and cut your logs?
Yeah, we have all of our set aside areas for wildlife, to protect streams for fish, keep the water temperature cool. So those are areas that we can't harvest any of the timber, and it's set aside for wildlife.
Yeah. I've been always curious about why there are groups of trees not cut in a clear-cut area. Now I know. Animals like deer, for example, need a hideaway. Birds need a lookout tree to spot their prey. Others just need a little comfortable place to live. Within the currently more than 100 existing national parks of Canada and the USA, logging is not allowed at all, except for safety precaution maybe. Clear-cut areas are under cultivation, like crop areas elsewhere. But here, instead of crops, grow trees. And if you do a clear cut and then you replant within what time range?
Before when we harvest again? 40 years.
40 years.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I mean, every timber company is different.
Yeah.
Some cut at 37, some grow it to 60.
Yeah. Okay. If you replant, what kind of trees you use?
Typically, we replant stuff like this, Douglas fir.
Douglas fir.
Sometimes we'll plant alder.
Yeah.
Some sort of hardwood or cedar.
Yeah.
The problem with planting cedar is the deer and the elk love them. So when they're this tall, they usually don't make it because they browse on those and pretty much destroy them.
Yeah, I see. Oh well, if you plant cedar, it needs to be made deer and elk proof. Before the harvest, a geotechnician comes to analyze the possible harvest area. It needs to be taken care of many things. For example, trees cannot be cut beside streams, so they keep the water temperature down. Whatever clear-cut area the geotechnician decides needs to be complied. And then logging can start. I am here in a clear-cut area and can see the work of men and machines to harvest trees today. Das Logging vonstatten geht.
This machine is called a fella buncher. Cuts the trees and places it in piles to be drugged to the landing.
What's wrong with my chainsaw? Well, I can't help him. The hills are full of cut trees, which somehow have to be dragged up. Therefore, heavy equipment comes into the scene. For the so-called tower logging, a cable is pulled across the hills and gets fixed between the two machine towers. That way, you get a sort of cableway. A grabber picks up the trees and drags them uphill. Here already the next machine, the processor, is in position to cut the logs to the right lengths. Next step is to upload a truck, and with a log load between 28 and 30 tons, the truck leaves the forest to bring his load to the sawmill. Here it is, and you would think unloading 30 tons of logs would take a lot of time. No, here comes the stacker that does it in one single grip. A power machine. Also, it puts the empty trailer almost gently back on the truck. From here, this unique, natural and regrowing raw material, wood, goes to the sawmills and the chips in huge containers to the paper mills that are located everywhere near. Meanwhile, the cleanup crew is working in the forest to prepare the ground for the replant. But before the next harvest, it takes a few decades of waiting for this fantastic, natural, multi-usable material that we all have in use every day in some kind.